Hello, everybody. Hello, hello, hello. Good afternoon, and welcome back to the Adapted Life podcast with Julie Hasselberger. This is episode 13. Today, I'm going to talk a little bit about in home nursing care challenges. So, yeah, it's a big challenge right now. We're going to talk about that. Welcome back to the podcast. It is May 2022, and I am thrilled to be in the beauty of everything blooming all around me. I just got back from a lovely trip to Southern California to visit my daughter. I finally got out there. I had been trying. I did the last episode about the shortage of food for my son, the recall of the formulas and the impact that it had. So I had to cancel my trip, which was scheduled earlier in April. But I was able to rebook my flight, and things were calmer and settled. So I got to take off for 7 days, 8 days, and get out there with her. I like to have some mom daughter time with her at least once a year like that. And yeah, it's just really helpful. So her little dog was being neutered, so she needed some help for a couple days while he was healing from his stitches. He was in a cone. She couldn't put him in doggy daycare, that kind of thing. So we had a nice visit. But getting out there takes a lot of management on this end. So I had it thankfully all kind of set and covered, and John can handle it too, but he also works full time. So we have to make sure that everything Daniel needs in terms of everything is all set, because without me here, apparently there's a big gap, you think? Anyway, today I'm going to talk a little bit about how my son is cared for in the home and the kind of situations that we're facing with this. Now, he's had in-home nursing care for a long time now, since 2009. Having a disabled and medically complex child, it presents a lot of challenges for me as a mother over the years. It's really, um, yeah, it just really impacts literally everything in terms of the life of your family and how you're raising your children and how everyone is kind of functioning throughout time and all the different things that you go through as your kids grow up. I mean, it's just different when you're dealing with one of the siblings being severely medically fragile and disabled. And I had a lot of challenges as a mom. But, looking back, my goodness, the first 10 years I did not have any help because Daniel did not have insurance that covered in home care like that. So I was basically doing everything, managing everything without any help during the day. And I just did what I had to do. But I was so stressed, and I don't even recall doing anything back then. Like, I don't even, it's like a big bubble in time. I mean, I was just a caregiver and a mom, and I went through a lot. That's kind of when I lost my identity a little bit, and went through some pretty significant depression and struggle. But regardless, I'm not going to talk about that today because we're talking about nursing care. So for the first 10 years, like I said, I didn't have any help. So when, let's see, I'm thinking, when Medicaid expansion was approved in the state of Connecticut, that's when Daniel got off a wait list for a Medicaid waiver. So thanks to Medicaid expansion and the Affordable Care Act, Daniel was able to finally get onto a Medicaid Title 19 waiver. So basically, what that means is he was able to have good insurance that would cover in home care and also the equipment, and also just a lot of the exorbitant medical expenses and the therapies that he needed, because typical work insurance, health insurance, doesn't cover those kind of things, especially the nursing care. Usually, if you have an insurance plan and it covers nursing care as a typical, normal, at work insurance plan, it covers, like, if you get sick and there's a specific need for a nurse to come in for a specific amount of visits, and that's it. It doesn't cover like ongoing in-home care for someone who needs daily everything. So he finally got good insurance. He was able to start having physical therapy and occupational therapy and speech therapy and everything that he needed in the house. Um, And so we began a journey with having caregivers come into our house around that time. That was a game changer for me, for the family, but mostly for me because I was able to let go a little bit and begin to explore, working part-time and just finding out what other avenues that might lead me to be able to have something else other than just, full on hypervigilance, stress, the caregiving, right? So, and it also gave me time to focus on my other children and to help them and, enhance their lives and support them. I mean, we had all the normal stuff, dance lessons and the football and the music and the teacher conferences and the birthday parties and, like everything you do with kids. So it was just always a little bit harder for us. But having somebody here with Daniel meant that I could do more. It also meant that my husband and I could finally go on a date because we need to do that too. So he had such a high level of need that we had no problem getting in-home nursing care approved because, between suction and oxygen and feeding tubes and all that stuff. Yeah. So over the past few years, the challenges are and have been growing, I guess, for a lot of reasons. I'm going to try to talk about those. A lot of people who might be listening who are aware of this or impacted in some way by needing in-home care for someone who is disabled, whether it's mentally, physically, both. So number one was that state insurance covers the in-home nursing care. Here in Connecticut, it's managed, his insurance, which is called Husky C, is managed through the state of Connecticut Department of Social Services. And when you qualify and you get the information, they give you a list of nursing care agencies and tell you you have to use one of these agencies that's approved. And you can't use more than one agency, so you kind of have to get everything from whoever you decide to use. They required one agency be the gatekeeper for everything, including therapy. The problem with this is that no agency in our however many years of care has been able to successfully staff all of the hours and all of the appropriate therapies that Daniel needs. So, on the one hand, the insurance says you have these benefits. You can have therapy, you can have nursing care, but you have to use these agencies. So, you take one of these agencies and you call them up and you say, "Hi, agency, my son needs nursing care every day, and we need this and this and this." And they, "Oh, yes, 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 we'll do that. We'll do that. No problem." And then they onboard you and you get in there, and then they're like, "Well, we're hiring somebody, we're looking for people, we're recruiting, we're working on it." And sometimes they staff it and sometimes they don't. And it's a lot to, kind of got to police it and keep pushing their buttons. It's just been really hard because no agency so far has been able to fully staff all of the hours that the doctors and the insurance are all saying he needs, right? Number two is that the nurses are not a replacement for my responsibility as Daniel's caregiver, his guardian, and managing all of the aspects of taking care of him. So I have an added layer of oversight now, which is communicating schedules with the agencies, orienting new nurses, doing recertifications with the case manager, just overseeing everything that's happening with the nurses in our home, making sure they're okay and they have the equipment that they need and that things are going well. And if there's any medical changes that happen, then we have to communicate that to the nursing agency because they can't do anything without having an order. So yeah, it's more. And they're not replacing me. They're just, in my eyes, just enhancing the situation here because it just basically means that I don't have to be in the room with him all the time. But I'm still like there. I'm around. I'm because if there's any issues, like for instance, if he has a seizure, I'm the one who has to press the button to, get things moving. I mean, I can tell them to call 911, but I have to be accessible. So, number three, we seem to have a nursing shortage for home care nurses. And I think this story is common throughout the state, the country. Families are trying to staff through nursing agencies for their medically complex children at home. They want to care for them at home. And excuse the background noise, but it's got hot today, so my windows are open. So normally I have soundproofing up, but I'm just dying. So if you hear birds or trucks or something, that's what that is. So plenty of approved coverage hours are there, but there's just not enough care to fill the hours. So you've got people who need to go to work in some cases, or it's just so stressful when you you can't get that help you need. So, for instance, Daniel has 112 hours of approved nursing care per week. So that's like every day, I think 12 to 14 hours. And he should be receiving physical therapy, occupational therapy, and speech therapy, which I'm currently working on. But right now, the only thing that he has is 53 hours of nursing care during the week, not on the weekends. And it leaves me vulnerable because now I only have two people. Um, and, with only two people and no backups, they get sick, they take vacation, they need time off. Uh, it's it's just not reliable, even in the sense that they are reliable, but the whole system itself isn't reliable for me. I have to be on call always and expect that if somebody calls out or something happens, I have to be here because John has to work full time. So I can't rely on going off somewhere or doing something because I just need to be sure. So, home care nurses, this is number 4, are not paid the same as any other types of nurses, as far as I know, via our state Medicaid reimbursement rates. I'm not an expert in this area, but in general, while we offer a nice home, we I think we have a pretty good environment here because um, we put a lot of effort into it, and we try to make sure it's a good environment for our nurses and that they have good job satisfaction. But in a world where nurses are in such high demand and there's higher earnings to be made anywhere, in a lot of different places, for instance, this is what I'm told, that there's just a shortage. This is what I hear every time I say, well, how come we don't have any new people coming in? And they say, oh, it's a shortage of nurses, or there's not really any nurses in your area, that kind of thing. So I don't know. I mean, who wouldn't seek a higher paying position? But I think that a lot of the agencies have been, um, lobbying at the state level to try to get the rates to go up. I don't know if they've had any success. Maybe more so with pediatrics than with adult. I don't know, but it's an ongoing problem. I mean, nurses that work in home are not paid as much, and as a result, you have these vulnerable people who are expecting to be cared for at home with their loved ones, and then they can't get help, even though technically they have help approved. But the state controls who manages. Like the state tells you have to use these certain agencies, and you can't hire somebody on. Like you can't do it yourself. You can't like recruit. So it's very problematic. Um, so our nursing agency consolidated with another nursing agency back in November, and there are quite a few towns away from us, the newer place. But they promised that they would be doing more recruiting and they would have more resources. And so we made a decision to just stay with that agency because the two people we already had were going to, oh, three people, I'm sorry, from the old agency were going to come over and work under the new place. But since they did the consolidation, we haven't had anybody new at all, not a single person. And normally I was used to, oh, we have someone, we're going to send them over to Orient, see if it's a good fit. And a lot of times they might decide it's not a good fit, but we haven't seen anybody since before we had this new agency. So they tell me, nursing shortage, but I don't know. So they have not sent anybody in to even try to staff all the unfilled hours. The ripple effect. So, yeah, the ripple effect results in a direct correlation to my ability to set any kind of a schedule or to really consistently work on my podcast or my YouTube channel or the artwork I do with Daniel, the activities. I'm you know, overwhelmed is what I say. Sometimes it's just I got to take care of Daniel, so that's my priority. And then I just can't do all the other things. So it's a challenge because I really want to dig into something that will bring more in terms of my ability to earn money and my ability to create. So I love spending time with Daniel, and you can watch that in my videos. I mean, he is just the best. But I need to be able to have help so that I can continue to grow and expand and build a better world for all of my family. That's my goal. That's what I want to do. So I feel stuck, and by not expanding because I can't, it's just icky. So in my future vision plan, I just see a world where I'm going to be able to hire nursing as a private pay client to get my son the best care that I can without having to deal with the state and the agencies and all of the crap that they say they're doing, but you really know that they're not doing. And and that's my vision. That's my goal. It's on my vision plan. I put it on the board. It's downstairs on my vision plan. So we currently have 2 nurses who are wonderful. They're wonderful ladies. We love them. They do such a great job with Daniel. They've been here for a long time. They Yeah, yeah. I mean, our nurses tend in general to have longevity with him. But he needs more help. He has only 53 hours out of 112 hours of in-home care staffed. I don't have anybody on the weekend, so every weekend I'm doing complete caregiving all day long, and I can't do anything with John who has weekends off, right? So it's we try to do the best we can, and yet sometimes it's pretty hard. And I feel like the rest of the world doesn't really know or care anymore. It's just like as he's become an adult, I feel very invisible. So I mean, I could be in here cuddled up in here for weekend after weekend after weekend, and it's just tough. So anyway, I need more help, and I can't use multiple agencies from what they tell me. So I'm at the mercy of one agency who, despite their promises, has not delivered. And I could change agencies, which sometimes I have to evaluate if that's the next step. But sometimes the grass isn't always greener, or you don't want to lose the current people that you have. Sometimes they move over if you ask them to, but it's something I'm currently evaluating. It might have to happen because I'm kind of at my wit's end with just complacently saying, okay, you're not filling my hours. Okay, whatever. So, in this world of being a caregiver, people like me and others in my situation, caring for family members in their homes, rely on others enormously, unless they themselves have completely committed to be a caregiver, which is perfectly fine as well. Um, but they rely on having help if they themselves want to engage in anything for themselves, right? So even those who are full-time caregivers need a break. So having a nurse here during the day allows me to and others to be able to kind of wake up, and I can follow my morning ritual. I can exercise, do more self-care, take a shower, go on my own appointments, spend time managing the house bills, the medical bills, taking care of the vehicles, taking care of the house, visiting my own family, talking to people on the phone, um, recording videos for my YouTube channel, or, setting intentions and planning things and getting ready for different events that are coming, exploring, brainstorming, eating healthy, cooking, taking care of the animals, and just, meditating and just kind of digging in to having a very purposeful, enriched, and enhanced life. Uh, and it's with intention and with a lot of work that I have to push into this because I have to do it when the nurses are here. I don't have any other option because when I'm with Daniel, I can sometimes do some things inside the realm of caring for him during the day, but my focus is different. So, and the time that it gives my husband and I for our own relationship, well, that's kind of priceless. I mean, I don't know. I don't know where it would have gone if I didn't have any help at all. Would we never be able to take a break together? I mean, we haven't had a vacation, just the two of us, since Daniel was born because we can't go away and leave him. But anyway, it's just kind of crazy, you know. In lieu of let me just say this. In lieu of having my son, if saying to this day, okay, I can't do it, I'm going to put him in a facility, right? And you're going to pay for all of it, or I'm going to pay for part of it, or whatever the case may be. But that would cost everybody so much more money, right? I chose to have him in my house and to take care of his vast medical needs that he's had since he was born. He's here with us. We know that his complicated medical condition requires so much and is ever changing, and we need the help. But sometimes you feel like you're caught up in some kind of a bizarre, ironic spider web, right? Like I feel a little freedom and then I get pulled back in, but I'm stuck. And then a nurse, you have like a sort of an agenda set for the day or a doctor's appointment or something very important. Then the nurse calls out sick and you have to cancel everything. And it happens so much. I mean, I can't tell you. If I had a dollar for every time my husband said to me, "I'm so sorry, honey," I wouldn't have this problem. Anyways, whether it's a medical need for an RN or an LPN because of the medical situation, like with my son, or just a physical need for in home, like a home health aide to assist someone, the issues of shortages due to low rates determined by the states depletes the family, reduces the amount of income they can earn, and in turn makes the situation really, really difficult. I mean, what if you're a single parent and you have other children and you have a disabled person with you? And I hear these a lot because I hear about a lot of different stories from support groups that I belong to and run, and from also just stories of other cases where mom has other children and a disabled child and she needs the nurse to be there so she can go to work. In that case, it's even worse because the nurse calls out sick and you can't go to work. Your job is in jeopardy. It's very stressful. And yet, those people just, I don't know, I feel like we just fall through the cracks. So the toll in the stress is just really, really, really difficult. So there's also the psychological impact on the responsibilities that the person who is caregiving needs. Um, they need a break, and the toll on the care to the actual patient, right? What if dad's the caregiver, but he really, really doesn't have his heart into it, but he does the best that he can, but he's exhausted, but he also has to work. So he's working from home, right? And say the person needs a lot of things, but you kind of let things go because you can't do everything. You know what I'm saying? Like parents are not always the best caregivers just because they're parents or anyways, I have taken care of Daniel for 24 years. I think I've done a pretty good job. But this, like I said, is not the case for every home and every person. Some people really, really, really need help in order to work, in order to function, and they are willing to keep the person in their home, which is such a big help into the overall world, right? To the economy and everything else, but yet you feel like you get taken advantage of because when you turn around, you say, "Hey, I need help." They're like, "Yeah, well, sorry, you can't have nurses on the weekends because there aren't any." And then you're like, "Well, are you sure? Like, are you actually recruiting? How do I even know you're telling me the truth? Like, I just have no idea." Um, so that's that situation. So I need more nursing care for my son. So as of today, like I explained, I have two nurses. I cover 53 hours of care during the work week for Daniel. I have nobody on the weekend, despite continually rallying over and over. Please, please, can anybody help? Is there anything you can do? Is there even 3 hours that you can send someone? I'm to the point where I don't know. I mean, how many times can you say, "Are you doing anything?" And they'll, and get the same, like, it's like pre-recorded answer from people. So I don't know if I should just start talking to agencies. I think I'm going to have to do that eventually here over the next couple weeks. But these issues appear to be sort of universal. I don't know what's being done to make it better. I'm not an expert in this whole area of what's happening with the state and Medicaid, but it's just not working here. I can tell you that. And I can't even imagine how bad this must be for some people. Um, there is a good possibility that my nurses will come along if I change agencies, but I have to make sure it's the best situation for them. I'm not going to do it if it means, hardship. Well, then they can make a choice, but it's it's um it's a little bit complicated, so I have to think it through. My medically blip, blip, blip. My medically complicated son needs nurses during his day to manage every aspect of his care from when he wakes up to when he goes to sleep. And I'm constantly adapting to new situations every day. A new schedule, a new change, a new medical condition, a new concern, someone coming in, someone going out. Um, there's just always something different. Like it's it's uh it's challenging. So as I adapt in and out of kind of adjusting, I'm trying to be creative and be an entrepreneur and think and brainstorm and share my journey because it's really hard. And like I want people out there to understand this, that when you have a child born with severe disabilities, you're you're in it for the entirety. Like this is the reality. You love them, you want to care for them, but it is a lot of work to manage it all. And help needs to be available, right? So instead of feeling trapped and bound, I started working on developing this abundance mindset, especially through meditation. Like I really started digging in deep, like a couple years ago now, but even more so over the past year. Um, I really, really work on scarcity mindset, changing out of a scarcity mindset, doing visualization, deep meditation, chakras, um, visualizing, affirmations, gratitude, just really going inward and self-love and all those beautiful concepts that really help me to open up my eyes in a different way, and I find new solutions and I find new ideas and I stay positive. The easy path would be for me to just feel sorry for myself and wallow and eat a package of Oreos in the chair in Daniel's room watching Disney movies, which yeah, sometimes I've done that, either that or smart food popcorn. Oh my gosh, like when I just eat popcorn and just like feel bad for myself because I can't do what I want to do. So I'm just like sailing that ship right away because I don't want to be like that because I'm trying to be healthier so that I can be a better me. So in the end, working harder to advocate for more care, looking after the well-being of our nurses that you have, being informed as to what other options we might have and what benefits he has. Just really pushing into making sure that somebody is hearing you, and if you don't, unfortunately, rattle that cage and make them look and hear and see you, then they just ignore you. Like if you don't say, no, that's not acceptable. I'm sorry, that's not acceptable. I'm not going to take the answer of no, you don't have anyone. Sorry, because they'll just hang up the phone and say, okay, we just told her that so and so called out sick. We don't have anyone to fill in. And they hang up the phone and it's not their problem anymore. And yet it is a problem because I don't have anyone here. And I don't have any other way to hire someone in, and I can't afford to hire a private nurse, and Daniel has benefits for this. So hello, what are we supposed to do? I mean, what if this could be said, like, if this agency can't fill it, why don't we like reach over to another agency? They have someone. Like, why can't we do that? Like, it's like I don't get it. Um, yeah, so you can't really be complacent in this. You can end up very easily falling into a kind of a dark place. So if you're someone out there, you who is dealing with nursing in your home for someone, or for yourself, or for a loved one, or you're a caregiver, um, I really empathize, and I send you a heap ton of positive love and strength because I know what it is to have to rely on somebody else to help you care for this person. And this is a lifelong commitment, and you're keeping another human being safe, alive, fed, happy, engaged. And it's such a beautiful, beautiful, amazing responsibility. And may I say this, it's incredible. I love my son so much. He is the inspiration behind why I'm pushing into purpose. And so, yeah, um, I just need more nurses, right? So I love being his caregiver. I love sharing my inside world with you guys. And I'm hopeful that somebody would be encouraged and lift it up just a little bit and make a connection with me, because that's very powerful. And even if I never meet you for the rest of my life, I want you to know that your journey as a caregiver is connected to others who are in this journey. You are not alone, and you can find different solutions and different ways to hang on to your own sense of self and self care and self worth in light of all of the challenges that you have to take on. So yeah, I also have a channel on YouTube, which I've been doing for many, many years. It's just called Julie Hasselberger, Hasselberger. And it's just my daily vlog, or, it's kind of sort of my way of sharing to the world what I'm thinking about whenever I pick up the camera. And sometimes it's just, me talking about challenges, or kind of what I'm going through. I mean, I'm 55, and, uh, I've been married for 30 years. I have three children, they're in their 20s, and I'm trying to reinvent myself at the same time. So it's kind of an interesting time for me. And I'm very, very emboldened to keep on this path of self discovery. So I want to share that. And as I do, I've been meeting people like so many wonderful, wonderful, new, amazing people. So it's really cool. I'm enjoying podcasting, and I'm going to keep doing it. And I hope that it really expands into even more. So, with love and purpose, I embark into my adapted life each day. I'm trying to make the best of each moment and be grateful and share gratitude, and also do a crazy, crazy amount of other tasks, because that's what this life entails. All kinds of things like you have no idea. The stuff you have to know to be a special needs parent, or to care for someone who's disabled, it's crazy. Anyways, I just want to thank you for listening and for supporting my podcast and my YouTube channel and Daniel's little art shop. And it's a place where we share our light and our joy and our challenges and our encouragement. I want to send you hope and faith and love. And I will see you next time. And I hope things are going well for you and that we can connect. See you next episode. Have a great day. Wait, where's the button? There it is.